simply it's life. Without forest, without trees, no life will continue. So for me, it's life.
Oh, I could spin you one hell of a yarn. I could tell you about how waters once teemed with life and grasses rustled, parting for the bodies of big beasts and the nudge of small ones, and how we now often find ourselves
in silence. But by now, you know that story. So I'm going to keep it simple. And simply, I want to introduce you to Restor, a home for hope and collective action, a global community working to protect nature.
Because all I know, and I know for sure, is that if we don't protect biodiversity, we're in deep shape.
Coffee is one of the most industrialized, cultivated crops, and for me it's important to show that there is another way. The more diversity we have, the more safe a system is. So you embed the farm in the forest, in an ecosystem that sustains itself. Yeah, to get that soul again, we have to acknowledge that we need each other for growth. A human being, our communities can only grow in exchange with each other.
And there are hundreds of thousands of initiatives like this across our planet, led by local farmers, communities and businesses.
Imagine a platform that allows us to see this entire movement, where we can engage with just the click of a button. A platform that not only allows you to help the movement, but to become a part of it. Because when you know exactly where your goods come from, you have the power to impact global restoration with every product you choose.
We have a chance to not only imagine, but to enact something different. This time we're in will be looked back on. So the real question is, what did you do?
So great. Welcome, everyone. I'm Anissa. I'm Restor Regional Engagement Lead for Southeast Asia. We are happy to have a very different session today. So it's the first of its kind among our webinars. Today, we are going to have a more relaxed, heart-to-heart conversation about the art of Restor with the team responsible for building everything you see on our platform. But first, I'd like to inform you about the housekeeping rule for this session. This session will be recorded and live streamed on YouTube. The recording will then be accessible after the session on our YouTube channel. And throughout the session, you can introduce yourself by typing your name, affiliation, and the work you do in the chat box. Please mute your microphone during the session unless we say otherwise. First, before we start and invite our guest speakers, we will have a 5-minute breakout room where you can unmute yourself. So you can unmute yourself on this one and get to know each other. You can introduce yourself, share more things about your work and so on in your breakout room. There will be no moderator in each room, so just really get to know each other on this one. I think Marina, our regional engagement lead for Brazil, will arrange you into the breakout room, and you can just click join breakout room once you get a pop-up window. And when the time is up, you will come back to the main room again. So Marina, could you help us? And let's see each other in 5 minutes. Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome back. So it's not perfect, but I hope you enjoy the breakout room and have a chance to know each other from the breakout room, from our Restor community. So welcome back. Yeah, I think we can start now. I hope you get energized with the breakout room. So Restor is an open science-based geospatial platform which aims to help the global restoration movement forward. In today's session, we are focusing on what users usually cannot see at Restor. So the stories behind the platform you see, and we have collected questions submitted by you, our Restor community. And later, we will open a Q&A session when we will take more questions from you as well. So the question that you have sent us before will be asked to our guest speakers, but we will have a Q&A session later as well. So feel free to bring up your questions about the platform science, development, and design in the chat box. And let's welcome the stars of Restore team today. So here we have Hughes, Maiken, and Matthias. Woo! Unfortunately, Steve, who are in charge of platform science, can't make it today, but you can still put your questions about the science and we'll try our best to answer during the Q&A session or in the chat box. So Yus, Maiken, and Matthias, we immensely thank you for accepting our invitation to answer the community questions. And first, it will be great to know more about you. So could you introduce yourself, probably starting from Yus? You can say, your name, role, when you joined Restore, and probably what you do on your free time. Yus?
Yeah, thank you, Anissa. So great to see so many of you here. My name is Joost. Think Toast with a Y. I don't know if that helps. I'm a front-end developer at Restor. That means I'm a programmer. I write code. And the front-end part means that I work on the browser side. So what you see when you log into Restor, that's what you see. That's what I play a big part in. I focus mainly on the maps and data visualizations, the science parts. I'm based in the Netherlands, and in my free time, well, I have to say I don't do much in my free time. I still make maps and stuff like that for fun. And like many of you, I like to go into nature, hiking, camping, stuff like that.
Great, excellent. Thank you, Yus. Maiken, you can go next.
Yes, hi. Thank you for having me today. I'm Maiken. I'm one of the designers working on Restor. I've been doing that for the past 1.5 year. Really enjoying that. Pretty much focused on creating a good user experience, but balancing that what stakeholders and different target audiences need, which is always a tricky bit of it. In my free time, I love delving into technological stuff, and whether that be design or coding or just building PCs, sign me up. Love that, doing that sort of stuff.
Cool. Thank you, Maiken. And Matthias?
Hi, I'm the other designer for Restor. I hope to listen to you and see what kind of things you need, and I will be the person plugging those ideas to the product team at Restor and trying to visualize as much of the ideas that can help you in your endeavors as much as possible. I do that for 2.5 years. I'm also based in the Netherlands, and in my free time, I like to do boxing and sometimes restore nature and walk in nature as well. So that's it.
Thank you, Matthias. Well, excellent. It's great. For many people who here, that our headquarters is in Zurich, but most of our developers are actually based in Netherlands. And I think we can start asking questions. So I think I will start with you. As you mentioned before, you are responsible more on the visuality of the platform as a UI, UX developers. And the first questions we have is, what are the biggest technical challenge you face while building the platform?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think the biggest challenges for us is that it's a science and geospatial platform. I do have a background as geospatial and GIS, but none of the other team members have that. So there's a lot of knowledge that that doesn't come that natural for us. For example, when we talk about like a store and a map, every site has like a polygon. To store all these polygons and to show them in a performant manner is something that's not that easy. We have 100,000, almost 100,000 public sites now. So yeah, there's a lot of our resources are going towards these type of things.
Yeah, and we get a lot of things as well, right? Like there are many people who always ask us like, hey, how to upload polygons and so on. And yeah,
Exactly.
and you are the one who make it happen.
Yes. Yeah, we were very well aware that there's many things that aren't perfect at the moment, but we're all very busy. We do listen to your inputs, but step by step, we hope to make a very good platform or a better platform.
Thank you. And oh, sorry, I need to ask everyone again, if you are not a speaker, could you please mute your microphone? Yeah, the second questions that we have is, it's a general questions actually. How do you ensure the platform is scalable and reliable for everyone to use?
Yeah, that's also a very good question. This is something that sometimes we struggle with because we are building so quickly. Sometimes things do fall through the cracks, but we do have like certain processes in place to minimize the impact of those things. For one thing, from the programming perspective, is that we review each other's codes. So every line of code that gets put out to production is being reviewed and tested by at least one of our coworkers. And then we have a lot of monitoring tools in place. So if there's an error happening on the platform, we will get notified about it. This all happens automatically. And for the backend perspective, we are based on Google Cloud Platform. And that makes it really easy to scale up resources if we need to. And also this can be done automatically.
Well, amazing. So how do you incorporate, like we get a lot of feedback from users, and as you mentioned, like there's a process for this to get it into the platform, right? So how do you actually incorporate this users feedback into your development process?
Yeah, I think most of our feedback comes through our community. What is Iman's role?
Yeah, community support. Yeah, our
Community support,
Iman,
thank
our
you.
community support.
Our community support hero, Iman. She will put it on a board. We have a specific place to store all this feedback. And if multiple people ask for it, then we can put it on our roadmap. Or if things are a quick win, we can do it quickly. Saying that we work in sprints, so like periods of 3 weeks. So we plan our work for the coming 3 weeks, and it's an ongoing thing. And usually we are a little bit too busy, at least until the end of September, to really dive into these things, especially the more complex ones. But do keep on giving your feedback because it's very important to us, and we will get to it eventually.
Yeah, so don't forget, for everyone, to like put your feedback. I will share how to do that at the end of this session. So keep tuning up with this. And yeah, eventually,
if I may,
yeah.
Sorry,
Sure.
if I might add to that, like even if you're sure that somebody else has already given that feedback, still give that feedback, because the more people repeat a certain type of feedback, the more we know it's important to you guys, and we love to know what's important to you guys and how we can help you best. So even if you're sure that somebody else has already said it, please don't hesitate to reach out and say the same thing.
Yeah, so it's like a voting system, right? Like the more vote we get on certain feedbacks, it goes the more into like the upper part of the priorities for the devs. And use. So we are developing some new features on the platform. That is not on the platform yet. You cannot see it yet. But can you give us a sneak peek, like a little sneak peek into some upcoming features that we will have in the future?
Yes, I do think so, yeah. Well, one thing that I'm pretty excited about is a few new data layers, the science-based stuff. For example, fire and flooding risk for certain areas, or for all areas, it's a global thing. Later on, fire alerts, that's something that we have in the pipeline. And another thing that might not be so interesting for everyone, but I think is really cool, is that we will have countries as an entity on the map. So that means like in the same way that you can get all the data from a site, you can also do for an entire country. And then we are working on some enterprise features. I don't think I can say much about like the contents of those enterprise features, but they are really cool stuff. You will hear more about it in September.
Yeah, I will share that
Don't
actually at the end.
don't
like,
forget
just
that
a
we also
sneak
have
peek.
this. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
We also have the seed data layer, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yes, 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 yes,
Should not
yes.
forget it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to see. So I will share just one slide at the end about like these three features. Well, fortunately we get the permission to do this. So happy about it. And yeah, about the country dashboard, for any of you who doesn't know about this, so we are working with the FAO firm, the framework for ecosystem monitoring platform of the FAO to basically help the countries reach and measure their restoration goals for the GBF, the Global Biodiversity City Framework. So any projects that you put on Restore will eventually be, considerable for, we will consider it to enter like the country dashboard. So I think later, probably Matthias, on your part, you can show like a sneak peek of it. So yeah, and for you, my last questions. You mentioned that you have your hobby is also mapping. So I saw some of your LinkedIn posts about visualizing forest cover change, and it's super interesting. So do you do this as a hobby to also bring awareness to your followers? So yeah.
Well, I don't have many followers. There's lots to be done there.
You will have more after this.
I just do it for fun. I like to learn new technologies, gain some new insights, and I do take like an environmental angle because I think it's a very pressing concern, and it makes it more valuable than just making something pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool. So if you are following Yus on LinkedIn, you might see like any of his posts. Like it's really cool. Like you can see like in kind of animation how the forest change in the country. Yeah. And next, we will move on to the design team. So to Maiken and Matthias. Yeah, you already said about your role and the responsibility, but you can probably explain more, any of you, like what you are doing with the design actually.
Yeah, Mikey, you wanna do some things first, or shall I? So.
You start. That's fine.
All right. So I think we do like two things, right? So we create concepts, and these can be anything. This can be user feedback, or like, hey, this could be a great idea, and we can visualize this, and we can present this to the team and to stakeholders. Like, what do you think about this idea? And that can take a very long time. So it can take a year or something before we actually have time for it. And then we have the other part is getting everything ready for Joost to do his work as proper as possible. So it's a bit of like creative stuff and some things just organizing stuff well so we can be actually productive. Yeah, that's it.
I think what's
Thank
quite
you.
funny, what most people don't expect, but product development takes quite a lot of time. So when we start talking about an idea that we have for the platform, that might, for example, happen in September of last year, and then we start designing somewhere in December and January, and we come back to it again in May, and then now it's actually June, and then it starts to move to Joost so he can work on it. And then before it gets live, it might even be September this year, and that's how long a development cycle can take for a single feature. It might go quicker. I mean, definitely not all features are taking a whole year, but it can take a lot of time to design and develop something.
Yeah, so it's a note for everyone as well, like your feedback, anything, like if it's design, anything, it will go to the platform, no matter what time it is, no matter how long it will take, but it will eventually be be on the platform. So you say that you already have like this process to get the design on Restore. What is your main inspiration to get all of this designed? Like, do you go somewhere? Do you dream something?
I think,
Yeah.
Oh, you go first, Matthijs. That's fine.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. I think the internet as a general is a pretty good inspiration. There's so many sites happening, so many other people who design amazing stuff, and it's always good to be inspired by that. Also things where you just encounter in real life. You see something, you're like, oh, that's very interesting, or you hear something in a conversation. I mean, to spark inspiration for design. It can also be, for example, a conversation with any of you guys where you talk about, oh, I'm doing this work on the ground, or I'm working on this part, and then we're like, oh, that's very interesting, and we should definitely do something with that. And then we start sketching and talking to other people about it. Design is basically a lot of conversation happening, and finding inspiration wherever you can find it.
Yeah, and as designing for Restor is thinking always in a global way. So we always I also trying to find websites outside of my bubble of Western design, and just try to find like a trip advisor for Japan and see how they do it over there, just to also get out of your own comfort zone. It doesn't always work, but it's a fun exercise to do. So I try to get out my the Netherlands bubble, like I would say, because the main websites you use in the Netherlands are completely different than probably a lot of you are using.
Yeah. So on Restor, you get a lot of photos, right? Like there are many photos from the site profile or organization profile as well. And I think the design team can also, get some inspiration for this. So for everyone who are having like this site profile on Restor, don't forget to put your photos in, because it could actually help us, to know more about what's on the field, and also inspire us into the process of making a Restor, including probably like for you, Matthias and Maiken, to design things, right? Yeah, and
Yeah, absolutely.
And the next question, it's can you share some challenges you face while designing the user interface?
Yeah, of course. I think what I already mentioned, designing for like the inclusivity of the whole world, and is definitely a challenge. And the other challenge is being incremental, right? So we want to put as much features as possible, and then sometimes you just can do a little bit, and you have to wait a long time, and then get a little bit more, and it's sometimes hard when you're like, I know we need to do better, and then it just takes time to actually get there. That's challenging, of course, but I guess that's the same with restoration, right? Just iteration on iteration.
Yeah,
I think patience is definitely a thing that you need to learn when you start. And Restor, the team is very, which we work with, is really amazing. So sometimes we get very big turnarounds. I remember working on things with Joost where he made amazing graphs. Like I talked to him, and a day later he came by and he did something which is amazing. So they were very lucky in that sense. But I agree with Matthias that having such a diverse audience, and all you guys, and everyone's their own specialty, and every location is different, and it makes it very challenging to design for. And sometimes also to choose not to design for somebody, because you're like, okay, this does need to go live, and it's very useful for person A, but maybe not for person B. And those talking about those decisions is always very hard. Like, okay, then we can't always be inclusive, which you do want to be. And I think also finding that balance between what looks very nice and also the functionality of Restor, because Restor is very functional heavy. There's lots of features to support. And as you look at our platform, even on our landing page, there's a lot of things you can do even there. And we need to find that balance between how it looks and what it all can do. And that's sometimes, I think, fighting over a pixel, like should this go one pixel to the left or pixel to the right? Or should this be wider or smaller? That's kind of discussions you have. So you have discussions from the level of who are we making this for, and what does it need to do, and what timeline do we have for it to, no, this needs to be this color because it needs to be stand out amongst everything else. And those are challenges that repeat, but yeah, are part of our work. And I do enjoy them because that makes design.
Well, really cool. So yeah, like balancing aesthetic and with functionality is also, a challenge. And if you can't what are some upcoming design improvements or features we can look forward to? I mean, you already mentioned seed and risk data layer. So if you can share a sneak peek on that, how it will look like. Can you?
Yeah, sure. Let me set this up for a moment. Give me a moment to kind of.
Yeah.
What you're going to share? Maybe I can give
Zoom.
an introduction.
Oh, I thought, yeah, let's start with the graphs and seed, and then maybe the homepage things. Oh, they are already live, of course.
Okay, so Matthijs is gonna share probably some views of the science graph, and we've been working on an improvement to make them clearer for everyone, easier to read, and also just smaller updates to make sure they adhere to the latest standards. So that's really good. Seed is also science. Maybe Matthijs, you can tell a bit more about seed when you get to it.
Yes, I am getting to it.
Cool. Just to also share, like, even though it's design, does not mean that Matthijs and I are the only ones who worked on it. This is basically, when you talk about something like this, the whole team gets involved. So we talk to Steve on the science side. We have all sorts of other people from Restor get involved and give feedback and work on this together. We talk with Joost about how implementation. This is really a team job, even before we get to the development part.
Exactly. So we had the last sprints. We have been working on a lot of data sets. So of course, on Restore we have a lot of data, but it could definitely use some love and attention. And there are some new data sets coming out. So this is something that is actually further than a concept. We will definitely do this. So one of the new graphs that we will come to your sites is the seed biocomplexity index. That's an amazing new data set that combines a lot. Joost, maybe you know how many data sets combined into one, and it shows you how well restored that area is until its natural state. So you see here the spider graph, and you see how, the further it is to the sides, the better it is restored to its natural state. And you can also click on it, and you can see. And this will be a bit more of a feature. This will roll out gradually. You can see which of those areas of animals or microbes or the other ones. I will not get into specifics here. And you can see which of them is actually good or actually could be better. So that's good and new. Great news on the plants observed in region. That's the species list. We have that in there for a while, but the images were, well, let's say a little bit disappointing in their quality. There's a big update coming on that, so we will have way more nice looking images. So if you actually see the plant, you actually know what it is. We will have soon a fire risk and flood risk of your site. So that's an amazing new graph. We have tree cover loss redesigned. It's all a bit more compact. It's a bit more easier, and we will have new descriptions what it actually means. So, for example, on eco regions, we have new images, new how do you say it? Just on what the eco region actually is. So that is I'm going very fast. I'm sorry for that. But it is. It will bring a lot more clarity to science on Restore, and we will move further and try to make it more inclusive, better understandable for a lot of people. Another thing that has been in the works is, so maybe some of you already noticed, but we have a homepage now on Restore. It looks like that. So we never really had a homepage where we kind of collect all our information within Restore. Now we have, And this is now a generic one for everyone, but this will move into a logged in version where here it is. And that's when you actually see all your sites on and entities on one map. So that is also something we're hoping to roll out soon-ish. And there are like many other ideas. I think I can't show you here, but we will be focusing a lot on aggregated data. So you have multiple sites and you want to have data set from that. That is also something that is in the works, but it will take definitely some time before it's actually live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do you have still things to add?
I can't stop, so I will just stop. I will take up all the time.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. It's really, really good that we can see, like, what's people always ask what's coming in the future. What is the future release of Restor? So now people get to see this. Thank you very much. Yeah. So after this, we will open the Q&A session. But before this, since Steve couldn't join us, but I think it will be good for you to get a little bit about the platform science as well. So I can share you. So actually, Restor have like a published paper on One Earth. This paper gives insights about the science behind Restor. It's open access, available for everyone. I think Marina will paste the link to the paper in the chat box. So here you can read about Restor, the science behind it, the data, the model geospatial data, including remote science data, how we put the ground location of we take care of the ground location of projects, metadata of the projects, limitations, and also like how scientists can collaborate within Restor. Also, and also future directions from here. So I hope if you have any questions about Restor, the science behind Restor, if you have time, you can go to this paper, read it, and get to know more about it. Yes. So I think we can move to the Q&A session. Marina will take, you can type your questions in the chat box. I think Marina will pick like a few questions from the chat box. And I think, do we have the questions yet, Marina?
Yeah, we do have some questions, but yeah, keep them coming. First one, Peter asked, I think it would be to Joost because he said something about the challenges of working with polygons. And Peter commented that Restor doesn't accept shape files over a certain size. So could you say a little bit about the size of shape files and what it implies in building the platform?
Yeah. This is something we are aware of, and I believe I need to talk to one of our backenders to be 100% sure what the reason is that we don't accept the files of a certain size. But I think it's because, like, if a shapefile has a certain size, it means that the polygon is too large, or not in size, but in, how do you say it, density.
Yeah, in megabyte.
And that would, and I think, like, once we started with this, it was just like I said, none of our backenders are geospatial developers, so they couldn't figure out how to get it work without the whole thing crashing. If you have a shapefile that large, I can recommend that you contact Eman directly with, what is it, support at Restor?
Community at restor.eco.
Community at Restor.eco.
Yeah.
And we can definitely help you get this shapefile on. We do have GIS experts in the Restor team who can, make things less accurate, slightly less accurate, or it can help you processing that part.
Yeah, we can always help you to get your polygons up on Restor. Yeah. Even if it's large, we'll find a way. Thank you. Do we have another questions, Marina?
Yeah, we do. Ashman asked again, Joost, but I think that maybe Matthias and Mike can say something about it because I know they have the mocks for that, the mockups for that. And he asked, could Joost kindly expound on the country level data, please?
I think Matthijs and Maaike can answer this perfectly.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that would be me. So on country level data, it is. I think we can show some stuff. If you don't mind. So it kind of starts off with just having a. This is not everything. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, it is. The idea is here is that we get this country level data in general of like, okay, what's in a country, and then which sites are in a country, and then we extend this with the global biodiversity framework tools of the FIO in the feature. That is, I think, that's our plan. I hope that kind of gives you the answer, or maybe it should be a bit more specific.
Yeah. To help, probably like so we are planning to have like this aggregated data on the country dashboard and collections and so on. So everything that like the data layers that we have right now will be aggregated in the country dashboard, and also probably in the upcoming collection feature as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, a country can put in their polygons that they say, okay, this is where we're actively restoring. And there you can and then we can track the process of a country and their set goals. That is the hope for it.
Yeah. Thank you. But so do we have another question, Marina?
Yeah, we have, but it's about science. Maybe you're the one who's going to answer. Ekaterina asked, can we use the amazing metric available on Restor to add local city parks to, for example, measure their often poor biodiversity?
So our data right now is basically sourced from the global data, so it might not be super accurate or super relatable to the local ones, especially if, for example, the site is small. So I don't know like how big a local city park is, but a good, how to say, a good sense on Restor, if you can see like how good the data predictions is on Restor, is to see like the spatial resolution. So there will be like low spatial resolution, which means like the data we have on Restor, the pixels is larger than your site. The medium band is probably the site size is comparable to the pixel, and if it's high, it means the size of your site is a lot smaller than the pixel. So it will be depend on this. So we can somehow trust the predictions from Restor only if it's like in spatial resolution is high. Like that is what's recommendable on this one. And yeah, you can always add your sites to Restor. And just a little bit more explanation about the data on Restor. So Restor is meant to be descriptive. It's not meant to be prescriptive. We don't tell you what to do on the sites, but we can at least give you an insights on what is there, what is probably there on your site. Yes, thank you.
So another one here, Anissa, it's more like restoration science / development. Alistair is asking, you mentioned connectivity in the title of the paper. One of the challenges is in Rio ID is to connect strong core areas that still have vibrant wildlife. Is it part of your aspiration to enable this kind of connectivity intelligence?
Yes, absolutely. So the goal of Restor is to actually have everyone working on restoration and conservation seen on the map. So the challenge is, of course, right now, not everybody is visible on this map. So the more people, the more projects, the more activities is visible on this map, it will help connecting all of this project. For example, some large organizations might work on landscape scale, and inside that landscape, there might be many small interventions done by other organizations. So when you can see, who are working with this large landscape and who are working inside this landscape, then the connectivity will actually be established for this one. So yeah, it's absolutely our goal to reach this.
Yeah, in like feature things that we think about is how to connect as much people together with knowledge that they have, and that will be expanding in the upcoming years. Is how to connect people. I think we do it now via sites, but I think we are also thinking about doing this in disciplines and see or adding your own data so that can be searchable if you want to know more about very specific rewilding plans, that you can actually find the right person. As we are already quite a large, we have a large group of super interesting people. We should definitely make use of that in the best way possible. So we will be thinking about IDs for that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I think we have time to take one more question.
Okay, so this is going to be very interesting because the previous question was about connecting landscape and this one about connecting people, and Matthias already started talking about it. So Cosima said, I'm wondering what's cooking at Restor to help the people behind the project to connect. We have a lot of similar issues on the ground, like paperwork amongst other, and I wonder what your ideas are to help us help each other.
So if I can share the simplest thing that you can do to, connect to these people is to open a Restore map. See, go to the site tab or organization tab, explore your area. I think it's the closest one that we can get is explore our own area to see if there is another project in your area. If you haven't actually been in contact with them on the Restore profile, you will always see their contacts. So contact them, start talking with them. I think we have one of few examples. I think Marina, you were the one who did this a few years ago, right? The Restore Cafe, where we have we have this gathering of some organizations who are working in dry areas, and they are starting to exchange with each other, saying what works in their area, what's not working in their area. Yeah, that's just one of the example. One example here in Indonesia as well. Some organization might have towards almost the end of planting season, but when the planting season doesn't seem to end and they still have a lot of seedlings, they can share the seedlings to others, and somehow they find other organization who can take those seedlings. So they can share seedlings just by looking, at Restore, and then contact hey, do you need seedlings? I have these excess seedlings that you can use. So this is also what could happen. So what you can do, the simplest thing is actually to go to Restore map and start exploring.
Yeah,
so maybe good to know we have. Sorry. Okay. Well, we know this is the thing about connecting to people. We know this is a very large question that people often ask. I would love to connect to other people, and how can I do that? And of course, Anissa, you're 100% correct, and that's certainly a way to do that. We have been also discussing other ways, should we move to have a more digital community or not? What else can we do? And I think Matthias already told some options also, should we make users more searchable and allow you or your profile to tell you more, so you can also connect there. And there are different ways we can solve issues like that. I think they're all very interesting. It's definitely something we should look into. It's a very good question. I think what Anissa told you is what you can do right now, and it's definitely something we should look into future.
Mm-hmm.
We know.
Do have, yeah.
Sorry, just one. Yeah, just one thing. We know that we now cater mainly to people that actually own land. But we know the restoration movement is way bigger, so we should facilitate to those people as well. Okay, I don't have a piece of land where but I still want to do something. Facilitating that better is definitely something we think about. So if you have any ideas, please let me know.
Yeah.
We can't rebuild Facebook. That's just a bit too big of a task.
Yeah. So yeah, like if you have any feedbacks on like what is the best thing to build community, like whether inside Restore or outside, Restore platform, just let us know. So thank you, Yus, Maiken, and Matthias for taking these questions. And I think like it's really great that our users can finally know you and know like what efforts that goes behind Restore. So I will show you like how to, because we always ask for your feedback, right? I can show you how you can add your feedback into Restore team. Here, if you go to Restore here on the bottom left, the bottom right, there's like this like little message button. So you can always send your message to us, whether it's feedback, whether it's comments, or even appreciation. We really, really like it. We are happy if we get like, appreciation as well, like what you like about the platform and so on. You can send us a message here or to our community at restore.eco as well. And from here, aside from sending us a message, you can also access the help page or support page where I think like some of you actually ask many questions related to how to, add your site to Restore, connect your link your organization's profile into your site, and so on. So you can access all of those guides from this help page. And there are many things that you can read about Restore, the models and data on, the collaboration we offer as well in this one. And I want to let you know, so Matthias already showed this, so we actually have like this homepage already. There will be improvement, of course, but we are happy to have this. And here we have something that called feature site. So I think 2 days ago, our communication team actually sent you all a newsletter. So the June newsletter, it contains information about how to get your site featured on Restore. So feature sites basically get more visibility on the platform because you have this right on our homepage, right? So how to get them featured is basically to make sure you can make sure the information on these sites is complete. So add your photos, put like the complete name of your intervention, add more complete description of your activities, put your contacts. And if you have, you can also add a donate button. And if you have like external link, like report and so on, you can make a custom link. Like for this one, for example, they do like a volunteering link. Basically, the more information you put into this profiles, whether it's site profiles or organization profiles, the more likely it is to be featured. And if you want to let us know, like, you already completed all of these things, you add your photos and so on, and you want to get featured faster, you can actually just send us a message and say, hey, I've made these efforts to make my site profile complete. Can you add my sites into featured sites? And that could help as well. Yeah. And we are also running right now as a community, we are running a campaign to fund regenerative agriculture projects. We run this campaign along with the release of our Restore movies. So we have like short movies about regenerative farming in India. And if you go to the video on YouTube, you can watch it on YouTube. And I probably don't have time to give you a teaser for this one. But if you watch this on our YouTube channel, you will get the link to this landing page as well. So you can learn about how to support the movement and how to make your farm visible on Restore, and also to fund regenerative farmers. Yeah. And another announcement that I'd like to make as well. Okay, let me move the slides. So these are the three things that actually has been mentioned by you, Mike and also Matthias. So we are having so Restor is mission driven, and we have been fortunate to receive a lot of donors, commitments, and in-kind support from funding partners since we established Restor Foundation in 2020. And as Restor evolves and add value to larger organization in the nature value chain, we are introducing optional paid service in addition to philanthropic funding. And this will basically allows Restor to drive our mission forward. So the basic Restor function itself will still contain the best available science and geospatial technology, and they will be available for free. They will remain free. So don't worry, three are optional. It's not mandatory. So we will have Restor Enterprise, which will enable you to get your own branded Restor website and added capabilities, including API and also aggregated insights. And as mentioned by Matthias, we will also have Seed integrated within Restor to help you comprehensively measure biocomplexity versus natural state. So to see how close you are to the natural state of your ecosystem. And we also have Restor Connect, which enable funders to do call to application and source project to Restor. So you can, with Restor Connect, you can open a funding application through Restor. So if you are interested in any of these three services, you can always contact our CEO, Tom Elliott, for further information. Yes. And I also want to let you know about the Restor user journey. So we will have a welcome webinar for everyone who has recently joined Restor. During this webinar, you can get more detailed guidelines and ask about how to use Restor, and we can also show you on the spot on how to do it. During this webinar, the date has not been decided yet, but everyone who joined Restor since our last welcome webinar in March will receive an email to register. If others wants to join as well, you will be able to access the registration link through our notification button, and the recording will be accessible in our YouTube channel as well. So in addition to that, we are starting what we call again the Restor user journey in a few weeks to help you with your journey on Restor. With this, you will get a set of emails which will have complete information about how to use Restor to its best capabilities. And don't forget to keep an eye to our newsletters and social media for more information about Restor and Restor community. Last but not least, if you need any support, please don't forget to reach out to our regional engagement lead. So here are the contacts. I think Marina can also put a link to our contacts in the chat box. Don't hesitate to reach out. So we are available in different regions, and we will be able to also assist you in different languages. So yeah. So last, I want to thank you, everyone who have joined this webinar. Thank you, Yus, Mike, and Matthias, and thank you to the team. Thank you for everyone who are joining this webinar as well. So I hope you have the great rest of the day, and see you next time in our next webinar.
Thank you so much for hosting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.